I think that possibly one of the best things with having a Dyson is that you can make it completely germ-free. You can see now that I have reached almost halfway up to the level when you should discharge the sand and dust that you've been vacuuming up from your carpet. When you discharge, then you have a little red knob up here. And this allows you to push down, and then the entire piece of plastic comes off. And then we take the filter off in the rear. And as you can see, there's a lot of dust in here as well. So we will clean up this filter. And you can see that there's, well, you hardly see it, but it's a tap here. And this is supposed to be water cleaned. This part you have to clean up manually and wipe off all the rest of the dust. Now these parts, they come off as pieces also. So we're going to clean them and make them 100% germ-free as well. Same goes for this. In another separate video, if you check my videos, I'm taking this one apart, cleaning it up. But we will focus on this container now. Here you see that I can grab on to the little rubber seal here and I can take it off. And it's all flexible, so it's very easy to remove it, and it comes off like this. You don't need much force to get it off. You see, it's just a piece of rubber. Then we can take this piece here. So now you see, you have to remember that this one comes on like this. You can actually see it from the shape. But you need to know that the flat side goes towards your canister. Then we move over to this side. And here you find a little screw which has a weird pattern in it. For that you need to go to Lidl and get this sort of 8-sided Allen key. Then you can remove this screw, don't lose it, and this entire piece comes off. But to get it off from these sort of hinges, you need to grab on to the canister, press a little bit, deform it a little bit, and then it pops out like that. Same thing goes over here. And now we only have this one left. And there you have it. And now the canister is completely removed from all the seals. This is all plastic and rubber, so it's not sensitive to water. So we're going to clean up all this in the dishwasher. Hang on, guys. And this one will now be placed on the side over here so that it doesn't hit the water dispenser. Then we have the nozzles, and we place all the rubber seals up on the top shelf over here. And then we have the filter, which we will wash off just under the tap to remove most of the dust sitting in here. And we do it this way because we know that the dust is going to find its way out easier on one side where it came in from. And you can see here that there's a lot of black stones or sand gravel in this filter already. So it's maybe already at this point ready to be replaced. But I will give it a try, shake it around. The reason why I don't put this one directly into the dishwasher is because the dishwasher won't be able to get this gravel out for me. And that's where we put the filter. And here are the seals. Is to take a dishwashing tablet, load it in here, put the machine on 65 degrees and close it. And then I'm opening the machine, and you can already now see how clean these gaskets have become. Here's the canister that I loaded in here, which is perfectly clean now. Absolutely free from all germs and dust. And then we have the filter unit here. Now all these parts have to sit for about 24 hours, and it's particularly important that this filter is actually completely dry, because unless this one is completely dry, it will suck in water into the electronics, and that would be disastrous for your machine. So if you're looking at it a little bit more closely, you will see that most of the water is associated with the filter, this part of the filter, which you see here. You also have a great amount of water associated with the interior, which is the fine filter, the HEPA filter that you have over here, but that seems to be drying faster and doesn't hold so much water. This way you can facilitate the drying of this filter overnight if you do what I'm doing now. Well, that's all for this, but you can see now that this filter is much cleaner inside than it was before. Well, a little bit of dust in there, but most of it has been removed, and most of it was removed with the rinsing under the tap. So we'll leave this one aside here. You probably notice now how perfectly clean this one is after having had it in the dishwasher. Same goes for this one. There's absolutely no dust on it at all. And the same goes for this one. Maybe you remember it looked actually like there was some kind of filter or something sitting here on the edge before I put it into the dishwasher. That was all dirt, and that has been removed, and it gets stuck right in this little area here, and you can actually see that through the plastics if you have a lot of dirt in that area, and then you need to remove this one. It's important here that you pay attention to the directions, and you may remember that it was sitting on these two hinges, and these two hinges, 1, 2 were the ones that I was getting the seal off from by pushing a little bit on the canister so that it changed its shape. You can see now more easily how it changes its shape when I'm pushing a little bit like this. I just push it straight into the hole there, like this. Now when you have it aligned over there, then you turn it around like this, and now I can force it down back into its position, and now you should hear a click. That means that this seal is back in its original position, and there's no longer any dirt around this line over here. And I'm using the bit to turn it around. Now here I can inform you a T8 that I've been using. So then I take this gasket first and I push it down into the slot on the bottom side so that I get it straightened up along with this ridge over here in the plastics. If you pull a little bit, since it's flexible, it's like a rubber band, it becomes thinner and it's easier to get into its correct position. Now I can see that it's seated properly there, and there we go. Now the last piece of gasket we have is the one that's sitting over here, and it's even easier to get this one on. Now with the proper cleaning like this, you can actually start seeing the print in the plastics. That's it. Now you close it like this and it seals properly everywhere so that you get the vacuum inside and there's no leakage here when we put it together with the machine again. You can take off the battery down here, but I don't bother with that right now. I use a microcloth here, and if it's something you should check, then it's the holes into your aluminum air intake. So no water onto this unit. If you accidentally would suck up something with liquid inside your Dyson, which is full of dust, and then you will have a clay inside your container, and that will start blocking these filters. So be aware. And then it said click there, and here we go. All we need to do now is to wait for this part to dry up completely before we put it together, and then we will test the machine. So at this point it's been 24 hours and the filter is completely dry now. If you feel insecure about whether your filter is completely dry, you can use a hairdryer to secure that it's absolutely 100% dry. And then you will see condense on the inside of the plastics here if there's any additional water in your filter. But this one is absolutely 100% dry now. So all I need to do is to push it onto the Dyson. And the Dyson doesn't start unless the filter is in place. So you need to get the filter perfectly in place. And that you do by just a small twist. Like this. Here you see, now I got the filter in place. So now we can start it, test it. And now we have a completely cleaned, almost like brand new Dyson in front of us. You can tell that with time this surface becomes a little bit opaque, because this is where all the gravel and sand is rotating. But apart from that, you cannot tell the difference between this one that has been cleaned in the dishwasher and the brand new one. I would recommend that you do this cleaning once or possibly twice a year, because the moment you turn on the Dyson, then you will have it contaminated again, of course. But this way you can prevent germs from forming and growing inside your Dyson canister. You see here now how fast it gets contaminated, and you see the rotating dust coming into the container the moment I turn it on and start working with it again. Thanks for listening, guys.